Senapati. Top focus on 6 p.m. Prime.
Good evening. You're joining us live here on 6 p.m. Prime. I'm Akshita, Nandgopal, and this evening on India Today, we're rounding up all the big updates coming in from Maharashtra. Lots that's happened over the weekend. The Uddhav camp has tried desperately to ensure that the matter comes up before the Supreme Court today. But it's only tomorrow, in all likelihood, that the top court will hear the issue of the Election Commission giving the symbol, the Shiv Sena name, to Eknath Shinde and his camp. We're going to be talking about the political war of words playing out in Maharashtra. The headlines first. Big controversy over Congress's Gautam Das attack on Modi. Pawan Khera down to name-calling now. Insults Prime Minister Modi and his late father. BJP says Congress is stooping to new niche levels.
जब नरसिम्हा राव जी जेपीसी बना सकते थे, जब अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी जेपीसी बैठा सकते थे, तो नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी को क्या प्रॉब्लम? गौतम दास है दामोदर सॉरी.
CBI summons Manish Sisodia again on February 26th in the Delhi liquor scam probe. Sisodia claims he could be arrested soon. ED conducts raids at 14 locations across Chhattisgarh on Chief Minister Baghel's close aides in coal levy scam. Baghel cries vendetta, says BJP is worried after the success of Bharat Jodo. Ola inking pact with Tamil Nadu government for EV and battery units sparks political war in Karnataka. Opposition and top industry faces question why Karnataka lost out. Big diplomatic escalation amid the Russia-Ukraine war. US President Joe Biden makes a surprise visit for the very first time to war-torn Kyiv, sends out a strong message to Putin. And ex-Pakistan Prime Minister Imran, likely to be arrested today, appears in the Lahore High Court. The fight over the name, the title of Shiv Sena and the symbol of the bow and arrow is far from over. If you thought with the Election Commission giving its order, it would finally die down, not at all. Because Uddhav Thackeray has now said that he will not back off, launching his most scathing attack yet, saying Ravan can never hold Ram's Dhanush. In fact, the Uddhav camp has already approached the Supreme Court. In all likelihood, their case is going to be heard tomorrow. And in the meanwhile, Uddhav said that he'll win this battle for the symbol no matter what, saying you can take away the name Shiv Sena, you can never take the name Thackeray.
ये शिवधनुष्य आहे जे रावणाला नाही पेललं ते मिंद्यांना काय पेलणार आहे.
धनुष्यबाण तो गिरवी रखा था उन्होंने, बाला साहब के विचार, और ये धनुष्यबाण ये उनकी देन है, उसे तो हमने छुड़ाया है अभी.
The EC order giving the bow and arrow symbol and Shiv Sena name to Chief Minister Eknath Shinde camp, sparking a full-blown political war.
नाम और चिन्ह हमने अपने साथ जो गुलाम आए हैं उनको दे दिया, तो व्यक्ति बोले बहुत अच्छा, मोगाम बहुत खुश हुआ.
Staring at a survival crisis, Sena Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray chief Uddhav Thackeray launched the fiercest ever attack at the poll panel. CM Shinde and the BJP.
धनुष्यबाण आहे, चोरलेलं धनुष्यबाण आहे, आणि मी तर आव्हान दिलेलं आहे की हे शिवधनुष्य आहे जे रावणाला नाही पेललं ते मिंद्यांना काय पेलणार आहे. जिन लोगों को हमने अपना माना, मित्र तो ठीक है, वो मित्र तो थे ही नहीं, लेकिन हमने हमारे परिवार के लोगों को जैसे हम संभालते वैसे हमने संभालने की कोशिश की. उन्होंने अपनी जो कहते हैं कि राजनीति में माँ शिवसेना, उसकी हत्या करे, उसका दर्द जरूर है. हत्यारा कोई और नहीं, वो हमारे घर का ही निकला, वही हमें दर्द है. ही परिस्थिती त्यांनी शिवसेनेवर लादण्याचा प्रयत्न केलाय. ही परिस्थिती उद्या देशातल्या कोणत्याही पक्षावरती ते आणू शकतात, आणि आत्ताच जर का याचा मुकाबला केला गेला नाही तर कदाचित येत्या 2024च्या लोकसभेची जी निवडणूक आहे ती आपल्या देशातली शेवटची निवडणूक ठरू शकेल, कारण त्याच्यानंतर हुकुमशाहीचा नंदानाद सुरू होऊ शकतो.
But an unfazed Shinde camp is slowly but steadily taking over key assets of the Uddhav camp. After getting the Shiv Sena symbol and name, Shinde faction took over Sena's Vidhan Sabha office. Amid reports of Shinde camp taking over the BMC office, the Mumbai police increased its surveillance at the civic body headquarters. And in another setback for Uddhav, the Supreme Court declined urgent mentioning of its plea challenging the poll panel order, asking it to list the case on Tuesday. Uddhav, in his plea in the top court, has demanded interim stay on the EC order, seeking status quo and relief till its plea is pending. It also accused the poll panel of failing in its duty. Shinde and Uddhav camps also locked horns over allegations of money deal to influence MLAs and buy the Sena symbol.
की 2000 कोटी आतापर्यंत खर्च झाले आहेत या व्यवहारात. शिवसेना हे नाव आणि धनुष्यबाण लेन देन हे कसे आले, कुठून आले, कसे खर्च केले, कोणाला दिले, कालपर्यंत हा व्यवहार चालू होता.
वो ज्योतिष है और ज्योतिष लोगों को ऐसा कोई बोलना नहीं लगता है, वो खुद अपने मन से निकाल देते हैं, तो और भी आगे आगे आंकड़ा बढ़ाएंगे.
The next Sena versus Sena face-off is likely to be over the control of the iconic Sena Bhavan and Shiv Sena funds. With Mustafa Sheikh in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
And I want to also bring in our consulting editor, Rajdeep Sardesai, now on this broadcast. Someone, of course, who loves everything Mumbai, everything Maharashtra, including its politics. Rajdeep, I think the question everyone's asking right now with what happened in the Election Commission is what happens to Uddhav Thackeray next? If he loses the battle in the Supreme Court as well, does this essentially mark the end of the political road for him, despite him having that Thackeray name?
Well, what happens to Uddhav Thackeray next is an interesting question. As you can see, he was very combative today, and I think the Shiv Sena is going to try and play the victim card, that this is a conspiracy by the centre against the Sena and by extension the people of Maharashtra. So invoking a sense of Maharashtrian Asmita, self-respect, which was the original calling card of the Shiv Sena. So with his back to the wall, I think Uddhav Thackeray, you will find, will have no option really but to take the battle in a way to the BJP. And you've already sensed it in the manner in which the Sena is now attacking the Election Commission. The Samna, the Sena's mouthpiece, has come out against the Election Commission. So for Uddhav Thackeray now, it's do or die. The next 6 to 9 months will really decide the future of the Shiv Sena leading up to the 2024 Maharashtra Assembly elections. And before that, of course, the more crucial Mumbai municipal elections, because Mumbai is the Soneri Nagri, or the golden goose as it is called, the richest civic body which the Sena has controlled for almost 2 decades now. So I think Uddhav Thackeray recognizes that he cannot play on the back foot anymore. He has to invoke a sense of Maharashtrian pride and Asmita, and therefore that will be the strategy that he will take in a way as his final card to try and keep the Sena going over the next few months.
But you know, what about the different aspects? Because you've got the Election Commission speaking about the symbol, about the name. What about, let's say, the Shiv Sena shakhas or the funds? The name and the symbol have gone to Shinde, but the real fight perhaps, and Rajdeep, you could correct me if I'm wrong, is it for the shakhas and the party funds?
Well, yes, I think now that the symbol has gone to the Shinde Sena, or the real Sena, as the Shinde Sena is calling themselves, Uddhav Thackeray has lost this battle. Can he win the war? And the war, as you rightly said, will be fought in the shakhas, the various branches of the Shiv Sena, particularly in and around Mumbai. there's a sense that many of those shakhas are still controlled closely by the Thackeray family. But now that the symbol has gone to Eknath Shinde, and Eknath Shinde has the support patronage of the BJP both in Mumbai and in Delhi, he will also make every effort to win over some of the Shakha Pramukhs or the chiefs of the Sena at the grassroots levels. And who gets the maximum Shakha Pramukhs, I think, will become a critical factor. All said and done, I think the real battle remains, as I've been saying for the last few days, the BMC. That election, to my mind, will be decisive and will settle, in a way, the war. The battle has been won in this round by the Shinde Sena. The war will be settled by what happens in the BMC. And certainly funds and Shakha Pramukhs are essential to controlling the Shiv Sena's function.
You know, those are things I think we'll see unwinding, unfolding in the next few days as well, because Uddhav Thackeray is making it clear that he's not backing off at this point. Rajdeep, thank you very much for joining us with your insights as well in this developing story. I'd like to bring in Anisha Mathur, because while there's, you know, this political blame game, this bickering going on, it's also important to focus on the legal aspect of this. And Anisha, I wanted to break down for us how this isn't the first time we've seen this kind of a case, the symbol war, fight between the party and it reaching the Supreme Court. It's happened before. And in such circumstances, which way has the Supreme Court really ruled?
Well, if you look at the history of this entire issue, now apart from Maharashtra, we've seen this playing out in Tamil Nadu with the AIDMK symbol issue. We saw the two-leaf symbol issue going on for a very long time, and it took a very long time for the court to resolve it, even as the situation on the ground politically was in a very different situation. And we are still seeing the turf war between the EPS and OPS factions as far as the control over the party itself is concerned. But as far as the Maharashtra and the Shiv Sena crisis currently is concerned, there are a lot of aspects that must be considered when we are looking at this issue from a legal standpoint. First of all, of course, being that this is a case that could also set out a precedent for several years to come when it comes to politics and the kind of politics we are seeing increasingly in the country, with MLAs jumping ship, with factions splitting within political parties. Now, from tomorrow, that is the 21st, we're also going to see the very critical hearing before the Constitution bench of the Supreme Court on this Maharashtra crisis issue, where the Thackeray faction and the Uddhav and the Shinde faction are facing off on the question of disqualification. And that is precisely where this matter is also hanging, Akshita, really, because what the Uddhav Thackeray faction is insisting on is that the Election Commission could not have gone into the question of who controls the Shiv Sena before the Supreme Court was able to decide on whether the Eknath Shinde, who's currently the sitting CM, and the MLAs who are supporting him should be disqualified from being MLAs at all. What they're also pointing out is that in the party itself, in the that you cannot claim that there is a legislative majority, which is what the Shinde faction had said, that
so
we are supported by the maximum
there are
number
clearly
of
arguments and counter arguments that are being put forth. Tomorrow is when, in all likelihood, we're going to be seeing the case heard in the Supreme Court. Anisha, thanks for those details. I'd like to bring in Sahil Joshi also on this broadcast. Sahil, good evening. I was having a conversation earlier with Rajdeep, and he was highlighting how perhaps the biggest battle is over the BMC. Right now, there are questions over which way the Shiv Sena Shakhas will go, which way the funds will go, and there's a big question mark over that. But what's your sense of the mood currently in the Uddhav camp? Are they really ready for a fight, Sahil, or is there already murmurs of a rebellion? Sahil, can you hear me?
Hello?
reconnect with Sahil in just a bit. Sahil has been getting us all of the updates, in fact, on this big story. But let's tell you also at this point, what next? How is this going to play out in fact, the coming days? First is you're going to be seeing that legal fight play out in the Supreme Court. You will be seeing, in fact, the Uddhav Sena fighting for a stay on the Election Commission order. And they've put forth several arguments in the Supreme Court for that. Temporary respite they'll be hoping for is a stay. Now, Shinde camp, meanwhile, has also, in fact, filed a plea saying, hear us also in this matter. Ensure that this petition isn't heard without our side also being heard. The Supreme Court can uphold or nix the EC order on the symbol and the name. They can also send a notice to both sides, including the Election Commission as well on this. Sahil Joshi is back with us. Sahil, if you can hear me, can you give us a sense of what really the mood is right now in the Uddhav camp? Uddhav Thackeray earlier, a few hours ago, has declared war. He's saying that you can take away Shiv Sena, you can't take away the Thackeray name. But is everything okay within the Uddhav camp, or are there already murmurs of rebellion, etc.?
Well, Nabila, Uddhav Thackeray took a press conference today in the afternoon, and he said that the original Shiv Sena is still with him. But it clearly looks like that the Election Commission has given a clear indication that it's not going to be with him, and that is the reason why it is going to be it's going to be a long drawn battle. Even in Maharashtra Assembly, the whip issued by the Shinde camp is going to be applied on Uddhav Thackeray, and that is what is going to be the trouble. That is what is going to be the trouble. He will need to re-register his party now if he doesn't get any relief from the Supreme Court. The petition which he has filed in the Supreme Court saying that they need an immediate stay on the Election Commission order, and that is going to be difficult. So till then, he's trying to gather his cadre and try to energize them that whatever may be the battle, the cadre is going to be with him. That is what is the long-drawn battle which he will need to fight.
Sahil, Akshita here. I was talking to also Rajdeep earlier, and he was highlighting how at this point the big fight is going to be over the BMC. But what about the other, issues, the internal issues of the Shiv Sena? Yes, the symbol and the name the EC has ruled over. But you look at other issues like the Shiv Sena Bhavan. What about that? Who does that go to?
Well, Shiv Sena Bhavan doesn't belong to the party. It is registered under a trust. So that is the reason why even if the Shiv Sena symbol and the name has gone with Eknath Shinde, does not mean that he would be able to claim the building, the Shiv Sena Bhavan, because it belongs to a trust. And that trust doesn't belong to Eknath Shinde. So obviously they may not be able to carry the name of Shiv Sena, but the Election Commission only orders with respect to the symbol and the name of the party. But the property does not belong to Eknath Shinde, and that is what they will need to be fighting on. Shiv Sena Bhavan ideally would be staying with Uddhav Thackeray, the trust which they are owning at this point of time.
Which is also an Uddhav stronghold. Thanks, Sahil, for getting us those details. We've got breaking news that's coming in right now. Let's cut across to that. There's been an all-out political fight over Pawan Khera of the Congress insulting the Prime Minister. And now Amit Shah has targeted the Congress over these personal attacks against the Prime Minister after Pawan Khera referred to, in fact, Prime Minister Modi as Narendra, instead of Narendra Damodar Das Modi, he referred to him as Narendra Gautam Das Modi. And Amit Shah, addressing a rally in Nagaland, said that the derogatory remarks over the Prime Minister by the Congress will be better replied by the people of this country. Let's play out for you exactly what Amit Shah has also said.
मैं राहुल गांधी जी को कहना चाहता हूं, 2019 में भी आपने मोदी जी के लिए अभद्र भाषा का प्रयोग किया था। नतीजा आपने देखा है, कांग्रेस पार्टी का विपक्ष का स्टेटस भी जाता रहा, और जिस प्रकार की भाषा आज इस्तेमाल की गई है और देश भर से जनता में से जिस प्रकार के रिएक्शन आ रहे हैं, आप 24 का नतीजा देखिएगा। राहुल जी, कांग्रेस पार्टी दूरबीन लेकर ढूंढने से भी नहीं मिलेगी। देश की जनता इसका हिसाब बैलेट बॉक्स के अंदर करेगी।
So that is the attack there from Amit Shah, saying that the Congress will be taught a lesson by, in fact, the people of this country. Amit Shah lashing out amid the entire controversy over Pawan Khera in a press conference a few days ago, saying Narendra Gautam Das Modi, the BJP has termed this as an insult to the Prime Minister and also to his late father, and accusing the Congress of resorting to niche-level politics, reigniting their entire showdown over Mani Shankar Raya. And now you've got, in fact, Home Minister Amit Shah himself lashing out in Nagaland and, in fact, saying that it is the polls, the elections, the people will give a resounding message to the Congress. Moving on, let's get you a story that's coming from Chennai, where a senior citizen attempted to immolate himself after alleging that his land was being grabbed by a DMK councillor. This 54-year-old man, in a desperate bid to be heard by the authorities, said that he would in fact take the step. Why? Because he says the land that was bought by his father in 1975 has been grabbed by a DMK Neta. He stated that he took this drastic decision as he didn't get any help from authorities. The BJP is latched on to this. In fact, the state BJP has tweeted out a video of Gunashekaran being forcefully removed from the area. This was outside the collectorate office. When he tried to immolate himself, no authority came to speak to him. Instead, you had the cops there dragging him out, despite this man, this 54-year-old man, saying the reason I'm taking the step is out of sheer desperation because nobody's come to help me. This has turned into a big political fight as well. We spoke to this 54-year-old man on why he resorted to this drastic step. Here's what he told us.
கடை பூட்டிட்டாங்க. இதுக்கப்புறம் நாங்கள் நேராக மடிப்பாக போலீஸ் ஸ்டேஷனுக்கு போய் கம்ப்ளைண்ட் கொடுத்து அதோ சொல்லி நாள் கழிச்சுக்கினே வராங்களே தவிர இதுக்கு வரைக்கும் சரியான ஆன்சர் வரல. இது நடுப்புற இந்த ஜேகப் பையன் ஜேகப் மணிகண்டனும் திவாகர் ஊர் தலைவர் திவாகர் அடிக்கடி ஆள் விட்டு அண்ணா கூப்பிட வந்து பாங்கடா அண்ணா கூப்பிட வந்து பாருங்கன்னு சொல்லி மிரட்டின்னு வேற இருக்காங்க. ஜேகப் மணிகண்டன் வந்து இந்த ஊர்ல இருக்கவங்களா அண்ணன் எடுப்புக்குள்ள அண்ணன்னா அவர் கவுன்சிலரா இருக்காரு. எந்த கட்சியில? இப்போதைக்கு டிஎம்கேல இருக்காரு. எல்லாம் இருந்தது சார். ஒரு 4-5 மாசத்துக்கு முன்னாடி நான் எங்க அக்கா வீட்டுக்கு போயிருந்தேன். சரி போய் பார்த்துட்டு வரலான்ட்டு 2019 வரைக்கும் எங்க அப்பா பேர்ல கந்தசாமி மேல வரி கட்டி இருக்கு. இடிச்சுட்டாங்க. ஓடுபட்ட வீடு, சிமெண்ட் ஓடுபட்ட வீடு இடிச்சு இந்த மாதிரி பண்ணிட்டாங்க. வெறுப்பாய் விட்டாச்சு. இது மட்டும் இது பண்ண முடியும், இது மட்டும் போய் சொன்னா மட்டும் என்ன பண்ண போறாங்க? இதுக்கெல்லாம் காரணம் இவங்க 2 பேர் தான் சார். அடிச்சு சொல்லுவோம் சார், சத்தியமா சொல்லுவோம் சார்.
All right, let's cut across to big breaking news coming in from Pakistan. Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan has now reached the Lahore High Court. There are questions about whether he's going to be taken into custody, whether he'll formally be arrested after his court appearance. But for now, he's reached the Lahore High Court. You can see, in fact, the images coming in from the High Court of the massive security that's been deployed there, because Imran Khan has also ensured that this is a massive show of strength. He's turned up there with a huge number of his supporters as well. This is in connection with a foreign funding case. Imran Khan has been accused in the last many years of receiving foreign funding illegally and in violation of the Exchange Act in Pakistan, and that's why he's been in fact appearing in court. Security has been beefed up outside the Lahore court. In all likelihood, he is going to be formally arrested in a matter of some time from now. This arrest will be made by the Federal Investigation Agency of Pakistan. Now, what we're hearing is that if he's taken into custody, he will directly be sent across to Islamabad. But be sure that amid all of the crisis that we've been witnessing in Pakistan, of the economic issues they're facing, the political crisis is also deepening here. Imran Khan faces the serious threat right now of being arrested, of being taken into custody by the Federal Investigating Agency, and this is only going to lead to more turmoil. As you can see there in those images, Imran Khan is making it clear he won't go down without a fight, and all of his supporters gathering in large numbers at the Lahore High Court. Quite a bit of drama that's being witnessed as we speak, as many of them are shouting pro-Imran slogans as well. His vehicle very slowly made its way, in fact, to the Lahore High Court as well, with the crowds only swelling in fact, that location at the Lahore High Court and outside. Now, what we're hearing is that a 4-member team has been formed for the arrest. A summary has also been forwarded to the Federal Investigative Agency, to the DG, for final approval. The High Court, Islamabad High Court, had in fact dismissed a petition by the PTI against the Election Commission of Pakistan's ruling in the prohibited funding case. So there's been no legal relief that's come Imran Khan's way. He's also tried a last-ditch attempt. He's also tried, in fact, to go ahead and also appeal this and ensure that he has protective bail. But that hasn't come his way just yet. And if that's not going to happen, considering that he's already reached the Lahore High Court, if the formalities are ironed out, and if the Federal Investigative Agency gets their way, Imran Khan, in all likelihood, will be arrested directly from the court premises. Geeta Mohan is joining us with more details on this. Geeta, as we speak, images coming in from the Lahore High Court of huge crowds that have gathered there outside the High Court. Imran Khan supporters making it very clear that if he's arrested today, it will be more turmoil in Pakistan.
Well, that's true. The fact that he did not turn up in court, and this was an ultimatum by the Lahore High Court, in itself goes to show that things are really heightened in terms of the atmospherics, in terms of what Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf chief is really going to do. The disqualification by the Election Commission of Pakistan in the Tosha Khana case is the reason why there were massive protests outside the ECP, and now the Lahore High Court is hearing that, the case on that incident. His bail application has been in court, and the courts have already said that he will have to appear before a decision can be taken on a bail for Imran Khan. So things quite tensed. Let's wait and see what really happens in terms of the ruling by Lahore High Court. And if it does go against Imran Khan, then expect a lot of chaos, not just outside the court, but certainly in the streets of various cities of Pakistan. We have seen that Imran Khan, despite and in spite of all the controversies, has been able to manage a huge crowd when it comes to the jalsas, the rallies that he's been a part of and has taken to various cities. So again, Akshita, a very important case. The anti-terrorism court in Islamabad last week had rejected Imran Khan's request for an extension to his interim bail, and now the Lahore High Court is going to hear the plea of Imran Khan. So let's wait and see what really happens in court, and whether Imran Khan gets relief or whether he is indeed arrested after the court ruling.
What we're hearing right now is, in fact, that a wheelchair has been arranged for Imran Khan to take him inside the court through a special route. This is also because of, in fact, the kind of crowds that have gathered there. Look at that on your screens outside the Lahore High Court. Hundreds of people who've gathered, all of them chanting slogans, waiting for news from within the Lahore High Court right now to find out if Imran Khan, their leader, has been arrested or not. But in this particular case, Geeta, there have been several instances of Imran Khan trying to seek relief. Legally, it hasn't really gone his way, which is why it's led to this moment that he could face arrest right now.
The chambers.
Sorry, Akshita, is a question to me?
Yes, Geeta, that was for you.
Yes, so legally things have indeed not gone down well when it comes to Imran Khan. Although his legal team has been saying that they have a case that's quite intact, but it doesn't seem like they have the details. The Tosha Khana case is a huge slap in the face of Imran Khan, because a man who has spoken of and has fought for the idea of corrupt-free Pakistan today faces the very same allegations that he had leveled against his adversaries within Pakistan, and today he is facing one of the similar kind of charge, and to which he also defied or did not appear in court till an ultimatum was served that if he wants the bail plea heard, that he should present himself in person, which is what is happening right now. Imran Khan himself has been on a daily basis addressing quote unquote, addressing the nation, Akshita, where he has been talking about persecution, about how the establishment was out there to get him, hand of foreign forces, including praising and applauding India's foreign policy, which he did not really get to write when it comes to his decision on the Russia visit. Having said that, this is a legal case, and legalities will be looked into. The Election Commission of Pakistan and the violence that ensued after the decision of ECP is something that has not gone down very lightly, not amongst the authorities within ECP, but certainly not with the establishment as well.
Yeah.
And the legal fraternity. So he will have to face the music if at all the Lahore court actually holds him responsible for the violence.
Right. Let's also talk about the background of this particular case. And as we put out those images from outside the Lahore High Court to give you a sense of how, the supporters of Imran Khan have come together in such large numbers, they're sending out a message. They're saying that if Imran Khan is arrested, we will resort to protests. So there could be violence that breaks out as well. Abhishek Bhalla is joining us from the newsroom. Abhishek, just give us a bit of a background into this case. What are the allegations against Imran Khan?
Well, Akshita, Imran Khan was implicated by the Election Commission of Pakistan, where charges against him were established by the Election Commission for drawing monetary benefits by selling certain gifts that he had received while he was the Prime Minister. Now, these gifts are given by foreign delegates when they either visit Pakistan or when the Prime Minister was visiting other countries. So these were serious charges, and after these charges were pressed by the Election Commission, Imran Khan was disqualified. So he was staring at a bleak political future if this order of the Election Commission of Pakistan is not reversed by the courts there. It will be difficult for Imran Khan to get into active politics. And he and his supporters had come out on the streets. There were massive protests. And during one of those protests, once again, he and his supporters were charged with instigating violence and indulging in violence. And that's the reason why he was facing multiple criminal charges. And he had been given interim bail when it came to this specific case of violence. But he had not been appearing in court, and it was on the last hearing, which was on 15th February, where the lower court, in fact, went ahead and said that there's no question of extending his interim bail because he's not been appearing in court. That's when Imran Khan panicked, because it seemed that if the authorities wanted, they could have arrested him. Today is the hearing in the Lahore High Court. It remains to be seen how these proceedings go today, what Imran Khan has to tell the court. It will be a very crucial hearing as far as Imran Khan's future is concerned.
The reason we say right now that there is a strong chance that there's a likelihood of Imran Khan actually being arrested is because the Federal Investigation Agency has moved in that direction. They've made it clear that they want to take him into custody. They're the ones, in fact, who will go ahead and arrest him as well. There's been a special team that's particularly been formed for taking him into custody. We understand that, in fact, the top command, the high commander of the FIA, which is the Federal Investigation Agency, has been briefed also about why Imran Khan could be arrested, what are the circumstances, what's the kind of security that will be provided. But there's no doubt that what this will lead to, Abhishek, is also endless political turmoil in a country that's facing a massive economic crisis. They cannot afford one massive protest like what we're witnessing outside the Lahore High Court already. It's going to get 10 times worse if he's arrested.
Well, as expected, drama is unfolding outside the Lahore High Court. It's happened every time there is a public appearance made by Imran Khan. And once again, people out there in huge numbers, big gathering, and the kind of political turmoil that Pakistan is going through. If he's taken in custody, we can expect a big backlash. So that's the reason why this court hearing is extremely, extremely crucial. What the court will have to say will decide the fate of not just Imran Khan, but in fact the politics of Pakistan at this point of time, which is extremely vulnerable. The authorities, the Federal Investigating Agency, is pressing terror charges against his supporters. So if he's taken in custody, obviously there will be a big backlash. And considering the circumstances in Pakistan as of now, it could have huge implications.
All right, Abhishek Bhalla getting us the latest updates. You can see, in fact, in those images from outside the Lahore High Court of the hundreds of Imran supporters who've gathered there. In fact, they came with him in his convoy. So you can imagine what kind of chaos will play out if he's taken into custody. We'll get you all the latest updates with the latest live reports from outside the Lahore High Court. I'm slipping into a very short break. On the other side, we're going to be getting you all the latest revelations in the Nikki murder case and much more.
तो जैसे सबसे तेज आपकी टैगलाइन है, तो इसी तरह से सबसे तेज हमारी सरकार की लाइफलाइन है.
Thank Mr. Puri.
I thank you for giving me the chance to address you.
Terrorism now a global issue.
The First Lady position is so unusual.
Never in my career did I ever see that love and affection in any other country than we saw in India in '79.
Pakistan has been responsible chronically for association with sponsorship of terrorist groups.
Amidst strained ties with China over the Chinese spy balloon, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken met his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. Blinken directly spoke about the unacceptable violation of international law by China. He also raised the Russia-Ukraine war during the meeting.
ये जो डॉग स्क्वाड था आपके साथ, क्योंकि ये हमारे यहाँ इतनी ठंड नहीं है, वहाँ उनको इतनी ठंड में जाना था. उन सब की हेल्थ कैसी रही जो डॉग स्क्वाड के लोग हैं, जरा बताएं. आपकी जूली, हनी, उन लोगों ने क्या किया?
जय श्रीमान, मैं कांस्टेबल डॉग एनलर अभय कुमार. मेरे पास डॉग रोमियो है.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacting live there with our heroes who travelled to Turkey and in fact saved so many lives out there, braving the cold weather, braving all of in fact the conditions there, the lack of connectivity, etc., to get there and help in parts that were worst affected by the earthquake. Prime Minister Narendra Modi appreciating all of our heroes' efforts. We're going to be getting you that live interaction there of the Prime Minister's conversation with the NDRF heroes. Remember, we sent a massive contingent as part of Operation Dost to Turkey to help them in any way that we could. We also sent aid, massive amounts of aid to both Turkey as well as Syria to help them in this hour of need. Diplomatically, we may not share the best ties with the country, but at this time of a calamity, the message was very clear that India will step up and lead from the front to providing all possible help we can. And in doing that, it was our NDRF heroes who really went out there, worked day in and day out to ensure that they can pull out as many people alive from that rubble. Prime Minister Modi was just also in that particular conversation inquiring about the dog squad who played such an important role in also the rescue efforts. As you see there on your screens, they were deployed in parts of Gaziantep, they were deployed in parts of Hatay and several other parts of in fact Turkey which were the worst affected, and our NDRF heroes who ensured that they were fully prepared in fact for the calamity, who are experts in this kind of disaster relief efforts did everything they could to help every single person out there. And it wasn't just really in ensuring that we pull out people from the rubble, that we help all those who are stuck in debris. The army was also actively involved in fact, these rescue efforts. In fact, India had even gone to the extent of setting up a mini hospital in some of the worst affected parts to ensure that as soon as people were pulled out alive, they were taken to, in fact, the necessary hospitals and provided medical aid, because there was a clear shortage of that as well. Besides that, all possible help, food, relief materials, stock that was needed for people there, all of that was also sent across in multiple contingents by India. And that's what led to so many messages of gratitude also coming in for India. And like I said earlier, diplomatic relations aside, Operation Dost was something that India launched. Interestingly, in Turkish and in fact in Hindi, dost means exactly the same thing. It means a bond of friendship, a bond of love. And that's why you had multiple messages coming in from Turkey thanking us for the help that we did. And India made it very clear that it's humanity first in these kind of circumstances, that nothing else really matters. These are the images that we're getting to you. We're going to be in fact dipping in and getting you the live interaction of the Prime Minister with the NDRF and Army heroes who were there, in fact, putting their lives at risk to ensure that they can pull everyone out of the rubble safely. They were there for a number of days through the worst part of the calamity, the aftermath of the calamity. Without food, without water, they ensured that they had all of the supplies they needed and were there day in and day out through the night, ensuring that they pushed through that rubble, drilled through it and tried to save every single life. There were amazing stories that India Today got for you. Gaurav Sawant was there in Turkey and he got us those stories of how little children were pulled out alive thanks to, in fact, the work, thanks to the sacrifice of these brave heroes who ensured that they put their own lives at risk. And can't imagine the kind of challenges that they faced, where in fact there was lack of food supply, lack of water, and amid that, these NDRF and army heroes stood tall in the face of such a calamity, in the face of such a disaster, led from the front and rescued lives, countless lives at that, in Turkey. And that's why you saw, in fact, all of those messages of gratitude coming in from across the world, because everyone knows diplomatically India and Turkey do not see eye to eye. There have been several instances where, in fact, the Turkish president has targeted India, but none of that mattered. We were very clear when we said that at this point, all that matters is to save as many people and to give all the aid that Turkey needs to come out of this kind of an unbelievable tragedy. The Prime Minister himself spoke about this earlier. Soon after the earthquake had struck Turkey and Syria, he spoke about his personal experience as the Chief Minister of Gujarat, how when Gujarat was struck by an earthquake, the kind of personal loss that he felt, how tragic it was and how many lives we lost. So he's saying, I've seen this kind of tragedy up close, and that's why I believe that we must provide all the help we can. And there were multiple statements like that came in from the Prime Minister, sending across a very clear message that we will help Turkey, or for that matter any country that faces that kind of a dire situation, that faces that kind of a disaster. In the face of it, India sent so many of our NDRF heroes and army heroes to Turkey to help in the rescue and relief operations. Gaurav Sawant was there. He returned, in fact, just a couple of days ago from some of the worst hit parts of Turkey, where he got us these live reports. And Gaurav, you reported extensively on the kind of amazing work that our NDRF heroes, that our army heroes on the ground did.
You're absolutely right. The NDRF and Army Medical Corps teams did a very good job in Turkey, and they were sent to some of the worst affected areas, whether it was in Nurdagi or in Hatay province of Turkey, in south and central Turkey, worst impacted by that earthquake, and they risked their lives. Some of these men you see here, they went in harm's way. You know of instances when some of the rescue workers from other countries, including Turkey, were injured, some sadly even killed when rubble fell on them. Now, as far as these Indian workers were concerned, and I saw them in action firsthand, They went inside the rubble, often risking their lives to bring people out alive, whether it was that 2-year-old girl or that 6-year-old child or even a 65-year-old man. Several people were rescued, and in one instance, this pregnant lady who delivered a child, the umbilical cord was cut and the child rescued alive. So many instances. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is interacting with them. Right now you have Atul Karwal. Atul Karwal is the Director General of NDRF. He is addressing these people again with the medical team, the 60 para team. They did a great job. They went in a very difficult area in Iskenderun part of Turkey, and they established a field hospital, including with ventilators and rescue and X-ray machines. And local civilians, not just from Turkey, even from Syria, were coming there for treatment. So, it actually shows how far India can go and how quickly India can deploy and self-sustained. No, they need no assistance from the host country, because the host country was under severe pressure, and that's where India today also reported on a joint operation of a Turkish team and the Indian team that worked till well after midnight to rescue people.
All right, Gaurav, we're going to keep coming across to you for those updates. We'll stand by also for the Prime Minister's interaction with our NDRF and Army heroes. What a stellar job they did. And Gaurav giving you some of those stories of how they rescued countless lives there in Turkey and also in Syria. Thanks very much, Gaurav, for getting us those updates. But these are, in fact, some of the images, some glimpses really of the interaction of the Prime Minister with the NDRF as well as, in fact, the Army officials. I'm going to slip into a very, very short break. We'll be right back with lots more news and updates. Don't go anywhere. Bonnie Kapoor took to social media to announce that the biography on his late wife and actress Sridevi is in the works and will release later this year. Speaking about the same, he called his late wife a force of nature. Titled as The Life of a Legend, the book will feature the key aspects of Sridevi's life and career. It will be published by Westland Books. The actor had passed away in 2018, leaving a void in the industry. And on her 5th death anniversary, her popular film English Winglish is set to release in China. The drama marked Sridevi's comeback to films after a long hiatus of 15 years.
English tuition? I can come in?
You may not. But you need to ask, may I come in?
English Winglish had gone on to become India's official entry to the Academy Awards in the Best Foreign Language Film category for 2013. The story of the film revolved around a housewife who decided to take up English lessons in the US after being mocked by her husband and daughter.
She was born to make laddu.
I, Shashi, from the India.
No, Shashi, not from the India, from India.
Why India, not the India? Why America, the United States of America?
In her illustrious filmic career, Sridevi had acted in as many as 300 films.
India gets its first ever transgender ward. The GT Hospital in Mumbai has opened a facility exclusively for the community. The ward has 30 beds with separate examination and dressing rooms and has gender-neutral toilets.
What happens is, of course, if it's a patient is critical, for example, if he needs an ICU, if he requires a surgery, then in these places there is no gender division. So these patients will have to go there, but for other things like nebulization, CPAP, so all that will happen under one roof.
GT Hospital has trained more than 150 staff members to sensitize them on providing medical treatment to transgender patients.
We've taken the help of transgender community in developing the ward. What are your needs? In that context, we actually had sensitization of around 150 of our own employees to know how to, be sensitive to their needs, to their issues.
The hospital authorities say their initiative is a step in the direction of making India more gender inclusive. With Dev Kotak in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
Welcome back. Let's get you the latest updates in the Nikki Yadav murder case. As the police are investigating, there are more revelations that have come to the fore and endless twists really in this case. Let's tell you about all that's happened now in the last 24 hours. What's emerged is that the accused Sahil Gehlot, who murdered his live-in partner and girlfriend Nikki, they were actually married. She wasn't his girlfriend but his wife. They married in fact in 2020. Sahil, in fact, had plans to push Nikki out of his car, and he confessed as much to the police as well. Now, according to the police, he had strangled Nikki inside the car in anger. And that's not all. Sahil then tried to cover up. How? He used the help of his cousin, who's constable in the Delhi police. And it was this constable who had in fact told him to go ahead and hide the body in the fridge. So this constable, his cousin, has also been taken into custody. Besides that, what's also emerged is that the accused Sahil's father also had a murder case lodged against him. He was arrested 25 years ago in 1997 in a murder case. Let's round up for you all the updates in our next report.
More revelations in the Nikki Yadav murder case. The police have found out that prime suspect Sahil Gehlot's cousin, who is also police constable, gave him the idea of keeping Nikki's body in a fridge. Sources say Sahil allegedly told the police how Nikki gave him nightmares when he was getting married after the murder. All the 6 accused in the case knew that Sahil had allegedly killed Nikki and plotted how to keep the murder a secret.
नवीन क्यों करा? नवीन दिल्ली पुलिस में रहकर क्यों करा आपने? कोई पछतावा है आपको? नवीन कुछ तो बोलो.
The police have also found that Sahil's father, who is in custody now, was arrested for the murder in 1997. He was accused of beating a man to death 25 years ago, but was acquitted by the High Court. Meanwhile, the suspects, Sahil and Constable Naveen, underwent medical tests. Ever since the murder became public, there have been many twists in the case. Police are yet to connect all the dots. Bureau Report, India Today.
We'll continue tracking the latest on that story. It's a wrap on this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. Thanks for tuning in. Coming up on the other side, Preeti Chaudhary joins you with Mission 2024. She's going to be telling you all about how opposition parties are in a huddle strategizing for the mega general election next year.
3 people out from under a mountain of rubble on Saturday, 12 days after a massive earthquake struck Turkey and Syria. This man, seen pinned beneath the wreckage, as well as his wife and child, were found alive in the collapsed building in Hatay, the southernmost province of Turkey. The rescue team said the father and mother survived, but the child later died of dehydration. An older sister and a twin did not make it. More than 46,000 people have been killed in the earthquake. The toll is expected to soar, with some 345,000 apartments in Turkey now known to have been destroyed, and many are still missing. Experts say most rescues occur in the 24 hours following an earthquake, and the head of Turkey's Emergency Management Authority said rescue efforts will largely be called off Sunday night. This Turkish bulldozer operator working to clear rubble said he tries to find happiness in finding victims' bodies so that families can hold a funeral. We are trying to find happiness from the saddest moment in their lives, he said. But for the families still waiting to retrieve relatives in Turkey, anger is growing over what they see as corrupt building practices and deeply flawed urban development that resulted in thousands of buildings disintegrating. In neighboring Syria, more than 5,800 deaths have been reported. The World Food Programme is pressuring authorities in the northwest to stop blocking access to the area as it seeks to help hundreds of thousands of people ravaged by earthquakes. The area is controlled by insurgents at war with forces loyal to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Public health is also a major concern, with medics and experts warning of a possible spread of infection in the area where thousands of buildings collapsed. With so much crucial infrastructure destroyed, aid organizations say the survivors will need help for months to come.
Tragedies can either break you or make you. And this story from Naxal hit Gadchiroli will inspire you in many ways. Bharati Bogami was just 17 when her father, the Sarpanch of Lahiri village, was shot dead by Naxals in 2002. A brain tumor survivor, she faced several financial problems and yet continued her struggle to become a doctor. She now serves in the same area where her father was killed.
मैं सोच रही थी अब तो पापा चले गए, आज ये सब होने के बाद अगर यही मेरा फ्यूचर, अगर मैं पेपर ना दूं तो आगे कैसे बढ़ूं। मेरे पापा की एक ख्वाहिश थी कि मुझे बचपन से मुझे बोलते थे, नर्स बोलते थे, डॉक्टर बोलते थे, ऐसे मुझे अच्छा लगता था। पढ़ाई पूरी होने के बाद मैंने सोच लिया या तो सब सिटी में रहकर सब लोगों को तो डॉक्टर है, लेकिन मेरे गाँव को मेरे लोगों की बहुत ज़रूरत है। मेरे दिल में ऐसे कुछ तो भी चुभन जैसी लग रही थी कि अपने गाँव जाके मैं सेवा दूँ, इसीलिए फिर मैं रिटर्न आ गई।
Bogami found a life and work partner in Satish, who moved from Beed to the tribal area only to support her dream of serving her village.
मेरी जो बीवी है उसने मुझे मोटिवेट किया कि उन्होंने मुझे ये बताया कि डॉक्टर प्रकाश आमटे, डॉक्टर मंदाकिनी आमटे, डॉक्टर दिगांत आमटे और डॉक्टर अंदाकिनी आमटे वो जो कार्य वहाँ करते, उनसे कुछ मैं इंस्पायर होके मुझे भी ऐसा कुछ लगा दिल को कि अपन जाके आरोग्य में थोड़ी तो सेवा देना। मेरे अंतर्गत जो 52 गांव है वहाँ जाना इम्पॉसिबल है। कई बाइक पे जाना पड़ता, कई जगह 10-10 किलोमीटर चलते हुए जाना पड़ता, वो आरोग्य सेवा देना पड़ता है।
Bharati and her husband have made it an aim to serve people in her village where health facilities are not easily available. Bureau Report, India Today.
Good evening, viewers. You're watching Mission 2024, your one-stop destination for all news political leading up to the big gig of January elections 2024. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Before we get to our main story of the day, let me take you through the headlines. Uddhav launches scathing attack on Shinde over symbol controversy, says Ram's Dhanush cannot be held by Ravan, calls for dissolving election commission. Big controversy over Congress's Gautam Das attack on Modi. Pawan Khera down to name-calling, insults Prime Minister Modi. Amit Shah hits out, says people of India will respond.
जब नरसिम्हा राव जी जेपीसी बना सकते थे, जब अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी जेपीसी बैठा सकते थे, तो दामोदर दास मोदी को क्या प्रॉब्लम? गौतम दास है दामोदर दास सॉरी.
CBI summons Manish Sisodia again on February 26th in the Delhi liquor scam. Sisodia claims he could be arrested. The ED conducts raids at 14 locations across Chhattisgarh on Chief Minister Baghel's close aides in coal levy scam. Baghel says it's vendetta. BJP says that he's worried. Ola inking pact with Tamil Nadu government for EV and battery units sparks a political war in Karnataka. Opposition and top industry face questions why Karnataka lost out. It is a big diplomatic escalation.